Just get this kind of set up here and wait for a few people to sign on. Hopefully everybody's doing good today. Just want to say hello to a couple of the new subscribers that we've had. Spent a little bit of time up in Milwaukee doing a couple Jeffrey Dahmer videos, and I may be back tomorrow to shoot a couple more, but we'll see. Hi Tracy, how are you? Still getting the live stream stuff set up. I have a helper today. Hello, Ricardo. The Netherlands. How's the weather over there? Tennessee sounds pretty good right now. I'm in Illinois right now, and it's not too bad here. It's actually a 70-degree day. It's the first one in a few days. Rainy and windy, that's not very good. Hopefully you'll get some nicer days. Hello to those of you that just signed on. So has anybody been watching that new Dahmer show on Netflix? Or am I the only weirdo? Right before this live stream, I was actually just talking to one of my buddies, and he was on watching it tonight. Awesome. I'm about 4 episodes in. It's gross, but it's interesting. If you like true crime and all that, I think you'll enjoy it. But I was just talking to a friend before I signed on here, and he bought something from a company called Cult Collectibles. Yeah, that's the one. But somehow he bought a fork that came from Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment at the Oxford Apartments. I don't know if I would want to own that, but just the fact that people are buying them and that they're available to the public, or at least they were for a little bit, I find it kind of disturbing, but I don't know. It's kind of neat that stuff's still around, but I don't think I'd want one in my house. So one of the other things that I wanted to mention too, with it being October now and Halloween coming up, I want to try to do a couple haunted videos on this channel. It's not something I've ever really done, but next Saturday we have rented out a haunted warehouse. It's an old factory. There's a lot of haunted stories about it. It looks really interesting. And we rented the place out for the night, and we're going to take some cameras in there, and we're going to see what we can get. If nothing else, it'll probably be kind of spooky, but if we happen to capture anything, I will share it with you guys. I may do a short live stream, but I'll do an actual video on it too. So that should be kind of fun. And as always, if you guys have any suggestions or ideas, things that you want to see from this channel, let me know. I'm all ears. I really like getting suggestions, and especially if I hear it from more than one person, I will probably go and check it out, or at least look into it. Right now, the travel schedule is opening up a little bit, but I'll probably be going back to California in a couple of months because I want to do an updated Hollywood Forever Cemetery video. There's been some new residents put in there between Anne Heche, Paul Sorvino, a couple other people. So I'd like to do a part 2 from Hollywood Forever. I'd like to do a couple more from Forest Lawn. There's a few other ones that I'd like to do. I have a whole list of videos that I still want to shoot. So there's no shortage of ideas, but I love adding to that list. So if any of you guys have suggestions, don't be shy about suggesting anything. I love doing research. I love visiting places and seeing what's out there. So don't be shy about it. And next summer, I'm also hoping to put together kind of a multi-state voyage and try to get some presidential sites. Are there famous graves that I'd like to see overseas? Yeah, I'd really like to do Jim Morrison. Beyond that, there are quite a few, but I don't think there's really too many of them in any one location. So they're kind of spread all out. But at some point, I would like to do Paris, though, and try to get a couple out there. Beyond that, I'm sure there's other locations, but I really haven't scouted a whole lot of stuff overseas yet. But I'm sure that'll come at some point. Do you have any that you're out by in the Netherlands? Alcatraz East. That's actually on my radar. I would love to do that one. The VW. Yeah, I've seen that. That's pretty awesome. Hi, Myra. South Australia. The koala's fun. How's everybody doing? Yeah, the Alcatraz East. That seemed really neat. It seems like they have a pretty wide collection of different stuff. So yeah, that's definitely on my list. I probably will do that. If I can get down to Tennessee in the next month or two, I'm gonna try because there's some things I'd like to shoot in Nashville. But we'll just kind of have to see what the weather does and how everything goes. And also how the work schedule treats me. But there's a lot of good stuff to shoot down in Tennessee. There's not too far from that is the Andrew Johnson presidential sites that I'd also like to do. So there's quite a bit of stuff in Tennessee. There is quite a bit of there are quite a few other videos that I'm working on that I've already started. There's a couple like more full-length documentaries that I'm working on, and I really like putting together videos of a lot of different things, and I like doing them documentary style. I like to narrate them. I always hated the sound of my voice, but it's just, I there's not really a whole lot of options for having somebody else voice it. And I kind of like being a little more personable. Okay, yeah, there are quite a few more. I'm sure there's a lot more that I don't even know about. But unsolved murder of Stringbeat, that would be kind of an interesting one. Yeah, that seemed like kind of an interesting case. I forgot where that is. Oh, thanks, Myra. I actually didn't really like it. I hate the first few videos that I did. I absolutely hated my voice, and I cringed at the thought of it, and I don't like my face even more. So showing my face on camera is something that I really never liked to do, and the live streams I'm doing just to kind of break my fear of that a little bit. But YouTube also didn't really like the fact that I didn't show my face and I wasn't really, aside from my voice, I wasn't really present on my channel. So I'm trying to change that around a little bit too, because I'd like you guys to kind of get to know me a little bit aside from just the stories that I tell. And I'd like to get to know you guys a little bit better too. So it's not really a bad thing. And I know these live streams aren't really that popular right now. I don't have a huge following on my channel, but it's getting a little bit better and it's becoming more fun to do these. And the more people that talk, the more fun it is. So I'm hoping to do a few more of these. And when I'm on certain locations, I'll go live for a couple of minutes and just show sneak peeks of different things that I'm doing. And I wasn't anticipating having a serial killer week on my channel. I do true crime every once in a while. It does interest me. I find the cases fascinating, but I wasn't planning on doing that. But I was driving by Plainfield, I was shooting a wedding last weekend, and it was for a friend, and we just happened to go by Plainfield, and the Ed Gein story was something I'd wanted to do a video on for a while, so we stopped and did that. And then with watching the first few episodes of the Dahmer series on Netflix, I thought, okay, I'll put together another Dahmer video, maybe shoot one or two more. I am trying to find time and to get back up to Milwaukee and stay in the room 507 at the Ambassador Hotel. They do rent it out, or at least they did as of a couple months ago. Hopefully that hasn't changed, but I am going to look into that. And I will do a produced video of that, and I may even do a short live stream. I don't think anyone has really done anything from that room, and it part of it kind of creeps me out, but part of me is intrigued by it also. So if you guys have any interest in joining for that or watching or just have interest in watching it, let me know, and I will try to get that on the books. But and hopefully you guys were able to see the Ed Gein video. That was kind of a hard one to shoot, but it was a fascinating one because the town of Plainfield, it really hasn't changed. It looks like you're stepping back into the 1950s. Most of the buildings are old, they're rustic, the people are, kind of old-timey. It's a really neat place to go. But there really isn't a whole lot to do in town. It's a small place, and you definitely don't want to mention to them the reason why you're there. It's a sore topic for a lot of people there, especially the older generation that live there, and remember it a lot better. There's still a lot of people that live in Plainfield that knew Ed Gein, that a lot of them had personal stories. Even some people that reached out to me after the video that I made. A lot of people that watched that video actually knew him or had parents or grandparents that lived by him. So it's still even though it was still back in the 1950s, a lot of people still have a personal connection to that story. So I found that kind of fascinating. And when people reach out with stories like that, I love that. And one of the other things I want to try to start doing on this channel is setting up interviews with people. Now, some of you are new to the channel, some of you have been on it for a while. I don't get very personal on many videos except for on these live streams, but I've been working in film for quite a few years now, and there are quite a few people that I would like to do on-camera interviews with, or at least through like Zoom interviews, things like that. I haven't done any yet. I do have a couple tentatively lined up that I hope to bring in the future, but I think it would be fun if there was enough interest to maybe try to bring a bigger name onto the channel just for fun. It is neat. I'm glad you enjoyed it, but the whole thing is with the Ed Gein thing, there's really nothing else around it, so it's not really worth a a voyage just to Plainfield, Wisconsin. It's in the middle of nowhere. It is it's about an hour north of Madison, Wisconsin. And if you have no reason to go to Madison, then there's probably no reason to go to Plainfield. But Plainfield is also about 40 miles north of Portage, Wisconsin, which is the home of the prison where Jeffrey Dahmer was sent and killed at. You can't, it is a maximum security prison. You can't go near it to film it or anything like that. I briefly thought it would be cool to make a video of it, but I looked into some things about it, and you can't film anything related to a prison or a penitentiary or anything like that. So yeah, that's kind of a harder thing to do. All right. My dog is having a fit outside, so I will be right back in 1 second. Here to visit Highgate Cemetery in London if you want to visit your lots of famous. That does sound interesting. Yeah, at some point it would be nice to go overseas and check out some other things, but I'm not sure when exactly I'm going to get a chance to do that. But there's a lot of places, even just in the States. There's a whole bunch of videos that I'd like to shoot in places I'd like to visit in New York. There's just the amount of places in the Northeast to visit is kind of overwhelming, but it'll it'll make sure that there's going to be a lot of good material on this channel for years to come. And for those of you that were just on, this is my dog Minnie. She's kind of camera shy sometimes, but when I sit and do these lives, she'll sit at the fence or at the door and bark at people walking by and dogs walking by and pretty much everything. So that's kind of the challenge of doing a live stream from here. So just curious, out of those of you that are on this channel, which video did I post that you saw first, or how did you find this channel? I'm always curious to ask people that because everybody found this channel from a different video or from a different source, or they were told about it from someone else, or it was a recommended video from another channel. But I always like asking that. Oh yeah, yeah. She likes to bark. She's a good dog though. She definitely makes it interesting to be around here. And I do take her on as many adventures as I can. She kind of likes just being in the car and checking things out, but she is a little camera shy and doesn't like to be on videos. I have tried to shoot one or two of them with her a little bit, and she just kind of goes behind me or turns her head or not really interested in being a part of it. But they're definitely worth having. Dogs are amazing. But yeah, I'm always interested to hear what how people found this channel. So anybody else that watches this video later and has any insight on that, I'd love to hear how you discovered this channel. Um, it's just fun to see that there's people from all over the world. I mean, there's only a few people on here. Beast of Bray Road, yes, yes, I will. That is one that I will do. I'm not sure when, but it is on the list. And that's really not far from where I am now. A year or so. That's awesome. I know I've seen your comments quite a few times, and I really appreciate that. Browsing YouTube for haunted and recommended something. Yep, that's a majority of what my channel is right now. I like to expand it and do different things with it, but that is probably always going to be my bread and butter, like the darker side of Hollywood, the true crime, the cemetery videos. I always thought that I was kind of weird for that because I love taking walks in cemeteries. It's just peaceful. I like looking at the stones. I like looking at the names, who people were, doing research, trying to figure out, what happened to people, what they did in life. Because, like I've said in a couple different videos, I love doing famous graves because those are the ones that people want to hear the stories about. But I also like researching people because everybody deserves to be remembered, not just the famous people. I know those are the only videos that actually get clicked on or that people watch, but I really think that everybody has a story, everybody has family, everybody has something to tell. And a lot of people, they led interesting lives that nobody will ever hear about. And I'd like to start doing stories and profiles on people like that too. And I'll probably start sprinkling things like that into. But when you walk through a cemetery and see some of these really unique headstones, it's fascinating and it kind of draws you over to it, and it makes you just want to check it out and figure out who that person was or what they did in life. Hopefully some of you guys are kind of like me in that sense and I'm not kind of a lone weirdo. But if I was, there probably wouldn't be anybody watching this channel. So that kind of makes me feel a little bit better about some of my odd hobbies. But I appreciate all of you that sign on. I know these lives, they're kind of difficult to do without a lot of people on here, but I kind of just want to establish a presence on this channel, make it easy for you guys to talk to me, get a hold of me if there's something that you want to ask. On Grim Life, yeah, I love their channel. Well, thanks a lot, Ricardo. That's if I actually did not know about their channel until I did some research on, I think it was Jeffrey Dahmer, and one of their videos came up. Oh, thanks, Adrian. I appreciate that. Yeah, I can't really remember what I did this morning either. But yeah, Grim Life is definitely one of the channels that I watch probably the most. If there's any other channels that you guys like, let me know that too, because sometimes I run out of things to watch and I like checking out other channels, but I really don't know a whole lot of them and I don't follow a ton of them. But Grim Life is one that I did find out about. And when I was doing some research, and I really like a lot of the things that they do. I'm not a huge horror film fan, so there's a lot of videos they do that I really know nothing about, but it is an informative channel. It's a neat channel. And at some point, maybe it would be cool to do some kind of a collaboration with them. I know I probably am going to go do an event with them in November. They are coming to Chicago to shoot a couple of things, and I may be at the same location at the same time. So we'll have to see about that. Um, Collaborations is something I would like to do a little bit more of on this channel. I really haven't done any yet. But the Historic Auto Museum, I know I've taken you guys there a few times, done a few videos there. It's been a lot of back and forth emailing and phone calls between me and the owner. Hollywood Graveyard, yes, I do know about them, and I actually didn't know about them until after I shot my first. It was, I think, Hollywood Forever. I went because that's when I'm in LA, that's my favorite place to go. I like to go on my morning walk there. Sometimes I'll go later in the day. There's a lot of nights where they have screenings of films, they have a lot of events there, and I just love being there. But I put together my video, and I always found it funny that I would get comments here and there saying you're a ripoff of Hollywood Graveyard, and it always made me laugh because when I'd made that first video, I had never seen Hollywood Graveyard or heard of it. Harmon, yeah, I've heard about him. He's the true crime, infamous crime locations, I think. Yeah, but I really like I have seen a couple of his videos. I do really like him. He's done a couple videos local to me. Tom O'Neill on his book Chaos. Charles Manson. That would be interesting. I could look into that. But yeah, Harmon's channel. It's I found his channel not too long ago, and I haven't seen a ton of his videos yet. But I want to go through and look at his stuff a little bit more. Who suggested? That's awesome. I'm glad you guys are finding me through some of these because some of them are they're channels that post the kind of stuff that I like to post and the things I like visiting, places I like going. It's nice to see that there are other people that enjoy this stuff. Yeah, infamous crime locations. I should watch a little bit more, a few more of his videos too. His stuff is really good. And what I love the best is when people show up on these channels and they actually know what they're talking about. They've done their research. There's so many people that go and they'll film like a 30-second clip, and the camera shakes so much that it gives you a headache. And I've had a couple issues with that as I've done my channel. I've been learning and growing and working on getting better equipment and all that kind of stuff. But when people don't do any research and they just show you things, and it's a really shaky kind of video and things like that, that kind of drives me crazy. So hopefully nobody ever feels that way about this channel. I'll always try to make this channel better. I'll always be working on it. I'll always be trying to find different, different equipment and things like that. Outside of YouTube, I also shoot documentaries, I shoot independent films, things like that. I don't exactly use the same equipment for all that as I do for YouTube, but I'm trying to incorporate more things that give a better viewer experience, I guess I should say. But I really love doing it. I mean, it's one of the things that when I try to relax for the night, I think of video ideas and what I can do next and all that. And I just love doing this channel for you guys, and I'm really appreciative of you all being on this channel and for all the comments and the likes. There are quite a few people that have come to this channel. Thanks a lot, Ricardo. I try, and I actually put out a Theodore Roosevelt video this morning. I know that's one of the topics that's not going to be as popular as Jeffrey Dahmer, but it's a topic I like doing. I think right now it only has like 50 views, which is probably the slowest start to any video out of the last dozen or so that I've done. But for me, it's not really about how many people watch it, it's about what people take away from it. I like knowing that I can teach people some things. I can show them the locations, where things are at, kind of take them back in time a little bit. And that's a big part of why I put this channel together. But I do appreciate everybody watching it. I know that not everybody that finds this channel likes it or enjoys it. Um, well, thanks. But I know that not everybody enjoys it. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I know that. 95% of the feedback and comments I get on this video or on these videos is positive. There's always going to be that 5% that, that's going to ridicule, that's going to say, oh, this is garbage, all that kind of stuff. And that stuff really doesn't bother me. I just, internet trolls. Anytime you put anything out there on the internet, there's going to be people that don't like what you do. There's going to be people that are miserable with their lives and just want to try to bring everybody else down. But I really don't deal with that on this channel. I don't, I don't feed the trolls. If people leave negative comments, I'm not going to respond to them. I just, I I love the viewers on this channel. Everybody is really supportive, and there's always going to be one or two bad eggs on every channel. I know everybody deals with that, and you really just can't care. But if anybody out there is thinking about starting a YouTube channel, it's probably one of the most fun things I've ever done. I really loved shooting movies. I loved shooting documentaries and all that kind of stuff, but the amount of work that goes into it, and the hardest thing is that getting, if you have a crew of, let's say, 100 people working on a film, trying to get everybody together on a certain schedule is almost impossible, and it's a huge headache, and trying to get and most things never turn out the way that you envision it in your head. You have a certain vision of how you want things to turn out, and 95% of the time it turns out good, but you always look at that thing, at that project, and I have projects that I did 10, 15 years ago that I still look at and think, I wish I would have done this different. I wish I would have recast this. I wish this would have been different. And it's just it's hard to stuff like that is really hard to do. And I do a lot of these Hollywood videos because that's how I started my career. I've been spending time out in Los Angeles since I was 16 years old, and I grew up loving Hollywood movies, music, all things entertainment. And then I kind of went backwards. I went out there trying to network and meet famous people and all that kind of stuff. And at first, I just wanted to learn what Hollywood was all about, what it was like. And then my interest kind of guided me into filmmaking and all that other everything else that goes along with it. But it's always been fun. I've always enjoyed it, but I don't think I ever enjoyed it as much as I enjoy making videos on the topics that I'm passionate about. And what I love the best about this is that I can come up with the idea from scratch, I can film it, I can narrate it, and I don't need to wait for anybody else for help. I don't need to count on anybody else to be there when I need them to be there. And that's probably the biggest reason why this is more fun than working on a film set. Um, Nothing's going to take the place of what's I feel like most people could do what I do, but just when you're passionate about something and topics and everything else, I feel like, or at least I hope that it comes through in the videos that I make. Um, you know, Sometimes people will tell me that I'm really talented, but I never really believe it. I love to see the places of Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, J.C. Berry. Those are all good. Marilyn Monroe, I actually did two grave videos on her, and I went to last time I was in LA. I did a short video on her last house on Fifth Helena, the Brentwood house where she passed away. There are two or three, maybe four Marilyn Monroe videos on my channel. So if you haven't seen those yet, check those out. Those are all pretty good. And I did a short video that I'm not really happy with how it turned out. It was one of the videos I did more than a year back, but it was a Marilyn Monroe grave video, and the creepy story about the guy that's buried right on top of her. He was actually buried upside down. He was kind of an older creep, and he wanted to be. His name was Richard Poncher. If anybody wants to Google the name, you'll find out about it. But yeah, that historic auto attractions. That's one of the best museums I've ever been in. The guy is a he's been a collector forever. He's about 70 years old, and he owns a company called Left Hander Chassis, and he basically makes stock cars and race car bodies. And he's made a ton of money doing that. And he's been amassing this collection. It was a big museum before, and nobody had ever heard of it. And just this summer, before this summer, they tripled the size of the museum, and it still doesn't house everything that he owns. But the things that he has, you look through it and you wonder why is some of this stuff not at the Smithsonian? And he's got dozens and dozens and dozens of historic cars that belong to world leaders, presidential limos. He's got Ulysses Grant's carriage that he got a speeding ticket in. The kind of things that you read about in history books, he owns it all. And the reason why I originally knew of him is because he we kind of had a rivalry. I probably could do a 4 hour video in there. The last one that I did, I think I edited it down to 40 minutes or something like that. Salmoneo's death locate. I did that one last time I was in LA. Actually, that was one of my favorite ones to go to. And that back alley where he was killed was really creepy. I was getting some strange vibes going back there. But I did do that one. So if you haven't seen that on my channel, check out some of the ones that I've done before, because some of the LA videos I've done were really fun, but some of them I'll probably redo, being that now I have a little bit better idea of some things and a little bit better equipment and a little better handle on how to make videos. But yeah, there will be a lot more good stuff coming up. It is. Did you stop by there before? I know it's one of those kind of places that people that live there don't really want people checking out, but the fact that it's still there, and the same apartment complex, Marilyn Monroe used to live there too. So there's a lot of history there. Everything in Hollywood, and this is a big reason why I like to go there a lot and do a lot of videos, is because there's a lot of history out there that's still alive. Yes, they bulldoze a lot of places, a lot of historic locations are gone, but they do like to. There are a lot of places still around that have a huge history to it, and it's really fascinating to look into a lot of that stuff. I kind of got into that and forgot what I was originally talking about, but I think I've done about 230 videos. I did have to remove some to comply with YouTube's rules, And they were all videos that I did at the very beginning before I started narrating everything. And those are all videos that I will redo. I can do them a lot better now. Hopefully, give them better justice to the subjects. Yeah, I love old Hollywood. There's just, when I go out there, I'll try to shoot as many videos as I can. Usually when I go out for 4 or 5, sometimes 6 days at a time, and I'll shoot as many videos as I possibly can. I still have video footage from the last time I was out there, and it's been months, of Marilyn Monroe's orphanage and a few other videos I have footage sitting there, but I just haven't finished the videos yet. I try to do one video a week. Sometimes I'll do two, sometimes there will be three. I'm starting to try to incorporate shorts in it now a little bit because they seem to have a pretty wide reach. Um, but I'm trying to do live streams to kind of get to know you guys better, to let you get to know me a little bit better. But I'm trying to diversify the channel a little bit and give people a little bit of everything, regardless of how they found this channel or what they like seeing. So hopefully, we were talking about your editing. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the museum footage. So I actually got to originally know of this, the owner of this museum, because he's a big collector. My pockets are nowhere near as deep as his, but I like collecting things too. And there was one particular bidder that I noticed that always outbid me on every single thing that I ever would would be watching. I'd be watching things in auction houses on eBay, and the same person would keep outbidding me on everything, and I kept thinking, who is this guy? And then I went to the museum and I started seeing things around the museum, and I thought, I recognize that. I bid on this and I lost it miserably. And I just realized, okay, this is where all that stuff's going. So I started realizing how he was getting a lot of his stuff. I got more fascinated with it, started showing up more. And the curator of the museum would say, I see you around a little bit. I recognize you. And we started talking, and I would tell him about some of the things that I collected and all that kind of stuff. And this is Historic Auto Attractions Museum. It's in Northern Illinois. It's, in my opinion, it probably rivals the Smithsonian, but they really don't advertise the museum. I think when they built the museum, it was just meant to be a kind of a storage, like a massive storage unit to store his collection. And I think he built it as a tax write-off, but nobody knew about it. And it had some of the most historic stuff. They have the Lee Harvey Oswald ambulance that took him to Parkland Hospital after he was shot. They have, I mean, you can't narrow it down to just a few things. They have thousands of artifacts of everything you could possibly think of. And it's, yeah, if I hadn't found it the way that I had, I wouldn't have known about it either. Nobody seems to know about it, and everything I post about it, I get comments from all over the world saying, where is this place? And I've never heard of it, and how did they get this? And that's kind of why I want to do an interview with the owner as soon as we can work it out. I know he's been busy lately with finishing up the addition. They're still working on a couple different rooms and some exhibits and things like that. But we have been in contact back and forth. He knows I want to do this video. He wants me to do this video because he likes the exposure now that the museum has gotten bigger. Yeah, that would be cool. I'm not sure what you guys have out there for museums, but I'm sure that there's some interesting stuff out there too. But this place is just, I want to do a live stream from it, and I did want to do a longer live stream so you guys can tell me what you want to see more of. But the problem is they don't have Wi-Fi in the museum. A couple weeks ago, I bought a hotspot so that I can hopefully start doing live streams from places that don't have Wi-Fi. So that's kind of the main goal why I did that, and hopefully I can bring you guys some things maybe nobody else has. But I do want to talk to the curator on that too, because he's researched everything that they have in that museum. Have you collected a piece of brick, carpet, something that creeps me out? Yes, yes. There's actually, let me show you one thing quick here. There, yes, cats are crazy. My dog just laid down in her little bed next to me. I'll show you this. This is how she's behaving now while I'm live streaming. But I got the question: have I ever collected anything that creeps me out? There's a lot of things that I've been offered that I have not taken because I don't really want to bring anything haunted or anything like that into the house. But for any of you that know Dearly Departed Tours and Scott Michaels, he has a YouTube channel, and I got to know him years ago. I took his tour in LA when it was still running. He discontinued his tour during COVID. I'm not sure if he's going to start it back up again. But last time I saw him was the week before he closed up shop and stopped doing the Dearly Departed tours. But he hooked me up with this. This is a piece of the stone fireplace that was removed from 10050 Cielo Drive, where the Sharon Tate murders happened. And this is a piece of the, hopefully that shows up okay, but this is a piece of the fireplace from the Sharon Tate murders. That's one of the few things. Oh, that would have been cool. How much was that? That would have been neat. Now, if any of you aren't familiar with Scott Michaels, he has a channel too, and he also runs a site called findadeath.com. Really, really cool guy, very knowledgeable, and he's probably the one of the original people that started doing a lot of this kind of stuff. Although he didn't do videos, he was taking pictures of different crime locations, different Hollywood locations, things like that. And he's a really interesting guy, and he shares a lot of artifacts. And you used to be able to get certain things from him on his website. There are a couple other things that I got from him on this last visit. Let me see if I can find something. Um, this is from Zsa Zsa Gabor's house after she passed away, and it's like a cocktail fork. It's offered a mail order from Norma Jean. I've never heard of that. I wonder if that's still around. I'll have to look that up. But something like this, I just thought that this was too funny to not bring home, and I mean it's just such a weird thing. But things like this are fun to collect. They're one of a kind, and as long as you trust the source, that's it's fun to put things like that together. But I hope you guys enjoy when I do these live streams. I'll try to do them more often, and I'll try to give. I'll do posts on the community page when I go live or when I prepare to go live, and hopefully some of you guys can join me as I do that. But as always, just don't be shy about leaving comments, asking questions, anything like that. I'm easy to get a hold of, and I'm pretty responsive with comments. But that's pretty much all I have for today. I've been missing a couple calls as I've been doing this, so I just wanted to, yeah, there's a lot of us, Adrian. So yeah, but feel free to reach out to me at any point if you want to discuss this stuff. And if you guys find anything cool, send me information because I love seeing what's out there. But that's pretty much all I got for guys for now. And yeah, just have a good rest of your weekend. Keep an eye on future videos. And next weekend we will be in a haunted warehouse that we've rented out for to shoot a video there. So that's all we got, guys. Have a good day, and I really appreciate you guys. Be sure to check out the Teddy Roosevelt video that I put up this morning if it interests you. And have a good weekend, everybody. Thanks for joining.